What would you do if, in the middle of your glamorous life, surrounded by everything money could buy, you suddenly heard a desperate cry, a voice trembling, a mother begging, "Please save my daughter"? Most people would turn away, thinking it wasn't their problem. But what happens when the richest man in the city stops, listens, and makes a choice that will change not only her life, but his own forever? Stay with me until the end, because what this billionaire does next will shock you, break your heart, and ultimately leave you believing in second chances and the power of compassion. Alexander Grant was a name everyone in the city knew. The man owned skyscrapers that touched the clouds, cars that purred like tigers, and a reputation that echoed power. Yet despite all the glitter of wealth, his life was an empty palace, grand on the outside, hollow within. He rarely spoke to strangers, never paused for anyone, and believed that money solved problems only when it benefited him. His world was polished, controlled, and without interruption. Until one rainy night, at the entrance of his hotel empire. As Alexander stepped out of his limousine, thunder rolled above the city. He heard it, a voice piercing through the storm, trembling yet fierce. "Please, please save my daughter." He turned sharply, annoyed at first, but then his eyes locked on a woman, soaked to the skin, clutching the hand of a frail little girl. Her clothes clung to her body, worn and torn, her face streaked with tears. She wasn't asking for herself, every word screamed of desperation for her child. The little girl coughed weakly, her skin pale, lips almost blue. The mother fell to her knees on the wet pavement, uncaring of the mud and rain. "Sir, I know who you are. You have hospitals, connections, money. My daughter, she needs surgery. If she doesn't get it tonight, she'll die. Please, I'll do anything, just save her." For a moment, Alexander froze. People often asked him for favors, business deals, loans, investments, but this was different. The rawness in her eyes wasn't ambition, it was survival. He wanted to walk away. This wasn't his problem, but something inside him shifted. Memories he had buried long ago clawed their way back. A childhood where he too had cried for help when no one came. He clenched his fists, torn between the cold armor of his world and the fragile warmth that tried to resurface. "Why me?" he asked, his voice colder than he intended. The mother lifted her head, her tears mingling with the rain. "Because you're the only one who can." That sentence pierced him. He looked again at the child, so small, fighting to breathe. Against his instincts, he barked an order at his driver, "Get them in the car." The driver hesitated, stunned, but obeyed. Within minutes, they were rushing through the storm to the city's most elite hospital. Alexander's name opened every door, bypassed every formality. Doctors scrambled, nurses moved swiftly, and soon the little girl was on a gurney, her fate now in the hands of medicine and miracles. The mother, her name Elena, collapsed onto a bench, sobbing, whispering prayers. Alexander stood beside her, awkward, unsure. For the first time in years, his money didn't feel like a shield, it felt like a key he could choose to use not for power, but for life. And in that hospital hallway, as the red emergency light blinked above the surgery room, Alexander realized he was more invested in the outcome of this night than any billion-dollar deal he had ever signed. Hours dragged like years. Elena sat clutching her chest, whispering stories about her daughter, how she loved to draw stars, how she dreamed of being a dancer even though they couldn't afford lessons. Alexander listened quietly. For once, he wasn't checking his phone, wasn't thinking about profit margins. He was simply human. When the surgeon finally emerged, his face was calm. The surgery was successful. She's stable now, but she'll need weeks of care. Elena broke down in gratitude, clasping the doctor's hands, then turning to Alexander with tearful eyes. "You saved her. I don't know how to ever repay you." Alexander, uncharacteristically moved, shook his head. "Don't repay me, just take care of her." But as the days passed, something unexpected happened. Alexander didn't just walk away. He visited the hospital daily. He brought toys for the little girl whose name was Lily. He watched her fragile smile grow stronger, her laughter slowly returning. Each time, Elena looked at him differently, not as a billionaire, not as a savior, but as a man who had chosen kindness when he could have chosen indifference. For the first time in years, Alexander found himself smiling genuinely. He told Lily stories about when he was young, about the stars he once dreamed of touching. He even confided in Elena about the emptiness wealth had left in his life. She listened without judgment, her presence simple but healing. Yet challenges loomed. When the media discovered Alexander's involvement, headlines screamed, "Billionaire's secret charity and hidden scandal." His board of directors warned him this could ruin his image of toughness. "Philanthropy makes you look weak," they sneered. Alexander faced a choice: retreat back into his empire or embrace the man he was becoming. Standing in front of cameras one morning, he surprised everyone. "Yes, I helped her, because wealth without compassion is poverty in disguise. If saving a child makes me weak, then I welcome it." The room fell silent, but the city heard his words. And for once, people didn't see Alexander Grant, the ruthless tycoon. They saw Alexander the man, the protector, the human. Weeks later, Lily walked out of the hospital hand in hand with her mother, her cheeks rosy with health. Alexander was there, not as a benefactor, but as family. He had found something money could never buy, a sense of purpose, the warmth of connection, the redemption of a soul that had been starving for meaning. And as he watched Elena embrace her daughter under the morning sun, Alexander whispered to himself, "Maybe it wasn't me who saved them. Maybe they saved me." Sparkles. By the end, viewers are left with a powerful message. True wealth isn't measured in what we keep for ourselves, but in what we give to others.